So how in the world have I not reviewed the Russell's 10-year? Probably because I'm an idiot. What is going on, Hawk Nation? Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. So today we're going to take a look at a bourbon that, for whatever reason, has kind of escaped me doing a review of. So I have absolutely no idea how in the world I missed it. It's kind of a daily go-to for me. So anyway, without further ado, let's kind of dive into it. So what exactly are we going to be taking a look at? The Russell's Reserve 10-year. This guy comes in at 90 proof or 45% ABV. Mashbill on this one's going to come in pretty standard for wild turkey, 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. It is age stated as 10 years, and the MSRP on this is actually a pretty friendly 35 bucks. And on occasion, I'll find this thing that's actually less than $30. So if you can find it at that, it becomes a tremendous value. So, all right, let's go ahead and kind of dive into the review. First, we'll start with the color on this guy. So as you can see, a really, really nice kind of, medium copper, very, very nice color. Pretty nice oils actually on this, sticking pretty well to the glass. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive into the nose. All right, so my first impression is it being very bright. There's something about it being fresh, bright, a lot of kind of that kind of red fruit aspect that's there. Maybe a light to medium barrel char. And this is specifically the actual barrel char. I'm not exactly sure what the char levels of these are, but there's a nice barrel influence on this. Some really nice spice, nice baking spices coming off. Still getting that kind of tried and true vanilla caramel. And here's one of the things that I tend to pick up with a lot of the Russell's, lineup is this kind of nuttiness, or more of a peanut butter kind of note, to be specific. And there even is, for me on this, a little bit of an herbal characteristic. There's something that's herbal about it. Maybe even a slight hint of mint on that too. And a little bit more sweetness. The complexity of this one, even though it's 90 proof, there's something that's coming out in this that's more of like a graham cracker. So you've got a little bit of, whatever it is that makes up the graham cracker, maybe some of that molasses, maybe a little bit of honey. There's some of that. It's not very dominant, but there are kind of hints of some of that. So, all right, more importantly, let's see how this guy is going to taste. Cheers. Like I was getting on the nose, there's something about it being fresh and bright. Some of those nice kind of red fruits are there. The barrel influence on this is fairly significant from the standpoint of it being a 90 proofer. I think let me back up a little bit. It's not super oak dominant, but there's the barrel char influence. It's not drying like you may get from an oak or tannic. It just got that nice kind of, barrel char, maybe a slight smokiness that's there to it, but very, very nice and approachable. That's one thing I've always appreciated about Russell's and the Russell's lineup in general, is that they're all very drinkable, very approachable. So I really appreciate that with the Russell's lineup. Still, you're getting a lot of those standard or typical caramels, vanillas. A lot of that is present, something you'd expect in that 90 proof range with these kind of bourbons. A lot of times that caramel, vanilla doesn't always get described, but it's something that's present quite a bit, and it's definitely there on the Russell's 10-year right now. Even picked up a little bit of a cherry note specifically there, so that's not always something I get with the Russell's, but there was a little bit of, again, that cherry influence on this one. Still some of that nuttiness, and again, it's a little bit of that peanut butter aspect that's there to it. There's just something about it that's kind of outside of just kind of a normal peanut or peanut shell. This is a little bit more rich, maybe creamy, sweet. Maybe it's that sweet oak that's there, and combined with the nuttiness that's there, so you're getting more of that peanut butter aspect. Again, it's not dominant, so if you're not someone who enjoys a little bit of that nutty characteristic in a bourbon, you know, don't let that you know, sway you from this. It's not dominant by any means like some other brands that are more well known for that nutty characteristic. And here's one thing I'll say about this is that there's something in this that's reminding me of a little bit of like a less sweet Pop-Tart. So you've got maybe some of that cherry, some of that vanilla frosting, a little bit of that pastry, but all of it kind of combined is to me, a little lesser sweet kind of cherry Pop-Tart. So I don't know if it's something that's, you know, appealing to a lot of people, but there's something about this that's kind of resonating and kind of bringing me back to, you know, when you have a Pop-Tart, but maybe this is just not quite as sweet on the palate. Overall, I think it's an incredible bourbon. I think it offers a tremendous value. Again, at right around that $30, maybe $35 price point. You're getting a 10-year age-stated bourbon, again, at 90 proof, but it makes this more of a daily sipper or more of a go-to kind of bourbon where you're allowed to, you know, really enjoy a lot of those flavors for a great price. Again, great value on all of this. So I think it's a tremendous bourbon for exactly what it is. I think the finish, this is maybe where the 90 proof is kind of starting to show up. It's probably on that short to medium side of things. But again, you're still left with a lot of those vanillas, the caramels. There's definitely a little bit of that kind of cherry or that bright fruit aspect that's there. Some really nice baking spice as well. Again, that barrel influence is very present in this, but without it being over oaked or overly dry, but there is a little bit of that kind of barrel char influence. Nice baking spices on this. It's a nice finish overall, and especially for a 90 proof bourbon, I think it brings an awful lot to the table. So there you have it. There's the Russell Reserve 10-year. If you're on the fence about this one, I would say, you know, go ahead and try picking this one up. I think for a lot of people, you'll really enjoy it. Russell's is a brand that I tend to suggest to a lot of people because I think all the way from their 90 proof all the way up to their Russell's Reserve single barrel, which is 110 proof, I think it offers an awful lot. It's a tremendous value. It's a fantastic bourbon. All of those things kind of put together, again, kind of creates the perfect package, so to speak. So again, there you have it, Russell Reserve 10-year. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Greatly appreciate all of the support. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel and become part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, make sure you check the Patreon link out in the description below. That will give you all of the details to the club that we've got. Remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.